back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a post-match reaction to Newcastle United's unbelievable victory today against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium on a Boxing Day fixture. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. But before we do, Merry Christmas to every single one of you. Hope you had a fantastic time with your families. Hope you drank loads, ate loads, had loads of nice gifts. And now we're getting back into Newcastle United, giving us even more gifts, which we're going to get stuck into in a second. Just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click the like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We are currently on 2,194 subscribers, so I've had a few more of you over the festive period. Massive appreciation for that. Help us get over that 2,200 mark. All free content. There's 2 live weekly shows, Mondays and Wednesdays. Not tonight, though, because it's Boxing Day. And pop-up videos just like this and transfer rumor videos too. So let's get stuck into the game then. Obviously, a Boxing Day fixture. Leicester picked up form. We were a little bit concerned, I suppose, going into this one. A lot of guys were saying we'd take a draw. You know, a lot of the lads in the Evermore chat group were saying the same thing as well. I went on a Leicester City podcast. They graciously had me on, Jack from the Final Whistle. They were quite confident. You know, although they did respect how well Newcastle played. They thought it was going to be a tight contest. I think, I said 2-1 to Newcastle. He said 2-1 to Leicester, which you'd expect them to do so. And obviously it didn't turn out like that at all, as you can see above my head. But we're going to get stuck into the goals in a second. So how did we line up? This is how we lined up. Obviously the big news, disappointing news, was Callum Wilson not being available. Apparently he was ill. Eddie Howe said he expected him to be fit for the game, and he was ill, unfortunately. So he's going to miss this game, and he's probably going to be back for the Leeds game, I think, is how it's going to work out. So it could be a case of just Callum missing this one, and then obviously back for Leeds. But Chris Wood came in. You guys all know how I feel about Chris Wood, but to be fair, he did what he had to do in this game, and he did it quite well. So Maximum was back on the bench. I thought he might have started, and obviously Sean Longstaff was in that midfield for his endeavour, which is something that I did say might happen in the match preview as well. But other than that, it was pretty much what you would expect from Newcastle United, with that steady back five. Bruno in the middle, is exactly what we need, and the rest of the guys picked themselves. It was great to see Elliot Anderson back on the bench as well. Back from his injury, so he had a little cameo towards the end of the game. So how did we start? Well, we started like a fucking house on fire, to be honest with you. I barely sat down on my arse to watch it, where Joe Litton breaks into the box and he's fouled, blatant foul, by their centre back. I'm just trying to remember the kid's name here. His name is Amarati, Daniel Amarati, who's actually done all right for Leicester, but Jesus, he was shaky as anything. Joe burst in. He had one of them games, did Joe? He was just up for it. Guy wipes him up, blatant penalty, stonewall penalty, 2 minutes in. Big Chris Wood steps up on a 3-minute mark, buries it right down the middle. He's very deadly from 12 yards as old Chris Wood. Not very good everywhere else, but very deadly from 12 yards. So that was a great start for us. Incredible start. Leicester looked rattled, and I thought, well, maybe the game will just settle down a little bit. Leicester will try and kick in, but I think lacking James Maddison was huge for them. They just lacked any kind of creativity at all. And after that first goal went in, I didn't know what the hell to do. So shortly after that, lovely bit of slick pass and move. Miggy picks up the ball, beautiful 1-2 with Bruno. That lovely weighted pass that Bruno's capable of doing, and him and Miggy seem to have this kind of telekinetic link where Bruno knows exactly what kind of ball to play, and Miggy with his speed to pick up the ball. Miggy comes and gets it, slips it under the goalkeeper with just surgical precision, and we're 2-0 up in under 8 minutes. And you just think, this is it. Leicester are fucked here. They've got nothing. Daka was looking ropey up front. He had one chance where he broke through, and I think Nick Pope closed it down, really. But other than that, he couldn't get any change from our defence at all. The game slowed down a little bit at 2-0. I think we kind of, I'd say we took a foot off the gas, but I think we were happy to press and let Leicester come on. It was a little bit as they were 2-0 down, maybe look for holes at the back. Harvey Barnes was trying to make something happen. Tillemans was non-existent today at all. Barely heard his name mentioned on the ball, really. And then just after the half an hour mark, we get a corner ball. Cross comes in from Trippier, beautifully floated across, and Big Joe just climbs over the top. I think it's Amarati again. Just couldn't get off the ground. Joe Litton bullet header back of the net, 3-0. And that was all Chiro, really. Leicester had no response to us whatsoever. We were just absolutely all over them in every possible way. We pressed so high. The energy from the lads, just from minute 1 to minute 90, was just absolutely incredible. We were talking about Joe Willock in the comments, and I think he wasn't great going forward today, but his press was brilliant, and Longstaff's press was really good as well. And just the energy from all the lads was just unbelievable. So half time comes, Leicester 3-0 down. You know they're going to make changes. They brought on Jamie Vardy for Daka, and they looked a bit more lively with Jamie Vardy up top. But we all know Jamie Vardy's better years are probably behind him. He's still capable of playing on the shoulder and bursting off a defender. But these are no normal defenders. He's playing against Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Trippier, Fabian Shaw. But I mean, Botman was just colossal again today. He was absolutely incredible. He really was. He just looks completely unfazed. I mean, I'm going to say something really bold here. I think the only real forward that I think can give Botman any trouble in this league is probably Haaland. And even against City, I thought Botman, by and large, marked him incredibly well. He slipped off a couple of times, and then Haaland got the goal at St James's Park. But I can't see any real attackers giving this kid that much trouble because he's such a good player. He's big, he's strong, positionally, he's just so switched on. He's got Cher next to him, who's playing some of the best football of his career. Big Dan Burn did well at left back today. Not that Leicester give us any real threat. I was worried about Harvey Barnes, maybe running him up a blind alley, but Barnes was fairly quiet. When Vardy came in, I think Barnes pushed up a little bit further alongside him, and they had a little bit of something going forward. They brought Iosi Perez on, and a couple of little touches here and there, but just he looked scared of a tackle. Every time a Newcastle player went in, he kind of shite himself, and he just didn't want anything to do with it. So it looked a bit powder puffed in Perez, and I just think that this was a litmus test. I thought because Leicester's obviously the measuring stick as to where a team like us wanted to be. For the last couple of years, Leicester have bought really well in the transfer market. They've bought bargains and sold them for fortunes. They've made better players for the players that they had. They've had good manager in Brendan Rodgers playing exciting attacking football and just missed out on Champions League football. So we looked at them as a team that we should probably emulate, but we absolutely pasted them today. We wiped them. And it was just it was quite joyous to see, to be honest with you. Joyous for Newcastle fans, maybe not so joyous for this fella, James Maddison. Sadly for him, that this picture was doing the rounds on social media. Mark tweeted as well from our page. He looked absolutely sick as a chip. Now, people are kind of reading into that face two things here. Obviously, one is that his team's getting absolutely annihilated by Eddie Howe's Mags, and he can't do anything about it because he's injured. And the other one, potentially, there might be a little bit in this. He's probably thinking, shit, I wish I'd went to this lot this summer. Look how good they are. So there might be a little bit of that as well in James Maddison's sadness in his eyes, wiping the tears with his Disney jumper. But they just look lost at sea without Maddison's creativity. We're missing Wilson. Maxi was on the bench. He come on, 75th minute or something like that. We didn't look like we missed either one of those. We were just at it from minute one. Whereas when Leicester missed Maddison, it's just unrecognisable as the team that they have been. Tielemans didn't step up, quite disappointing in him, really. If I was a Leicester fan, I'd be very disappointed in him. Vardy is capable, as I said, but he's not the player that he used to be. So Leicester in a real state of flux, I think, at the minute. They've been in good form, but as the commentator said around them, they haven't really beat anybody above them. They beat teams around them. They've come up against us in great form, and we'll just continue that form from the back of the World Cup break. And it's great to see. It really, really is. We've got Leeds coming up next at St James's Park. We've got to fancy our chances against them. We really have to, but we're going to go into that game, believe it or not. I mean, are we going into that game? Sorry, we might not be the second place going into that game because Manchester City have got to play. But this is where we currently sit now in the Premier League table. So, I mean, just drink that in, Newcastle fans. I mean, you haven't seen that probably for the best part of 20 years, probably under the Bobby Robson era, where we played some amazing football and had some brilliant players in the squad. But Newcastle United are sitting there now after 16 games, 9 wins, 6 draws, and only 1 defeat. 21 goal difference, 33 points in second place, 4 points behind top of the table Arsenal, and 1 point ahead of Manchester City. It's unbelievable. The turnaround from this club from last year with Eddie Howe is just second to none. It's almost akin to a bit of that Leicester title win, really. They survived one season and they won the fucking league the next season. I'm not saying we're going to win the league. My God, it'd be amazing if we could. But if we can keep up this kind of form and we can keep up this kind of performance levels and add to the squad in January in areas that we maybe do lack, because we're getting away with, well, I'd say we're getting away with games. We're playing well and we're beating teams like Leicester without Wilson and people like that. But when it comes to those big crunch games, we've got Arsenal on the 3rd of January. That is going to be a huge test as to where we are in this kind of top 4 or even this title picture? Can we go toe-to-toe with Arsenal? Can we take Arsenal to the wire? Can we do Arsenal? Can we beat them? Can we take 3 points off them? Why not? Liverpool took 98 minutes to beat us. City just drew with us. So why can't we beat Arsenal? So, I mean, it's exciting times as a Newcastle fan right now, just to maybe dream about what if and what could be. When you see performances like this, just complete performances, just dominant, pressure, fitness, desire. I mean, Christ, Bruno at one point, he put a tackle on Dewsbury Hall. That sounds like a National Trust site every time I laugh, I hear that. Puts a tackle on Dewsbury Hall, and he gets up and cheers like he scored a goal. The passion that's running through the side is absolutely incredible. It's the togetherness, the unity. It's just amazing. It really, really is. And I honestly think if we finish in the top 4, I think Eddie Howe is going to be shoo-in for manager of the year. I really do. I don't think anybody else can lay claim to that, really, the way this guy has transformed this club, this city, everything, the fan base, everything really. We're just so united. I don't think I've ever seen this club as united as this in the whatever it is, the 38 or 36 years or whatever it is I've supported them. I've never ever seen it. It's beautiful to see. And these are the reason why. These are the guys that are doing this for us. You can see the team photo has become customary now, with the Magpies winning. Just look at the buzz, look at the togetherness there. Even guys aren't playing, big smiles on their faces, just absolutely brilliant. You'd have to zoom in, probably turn your phone sideways there, but I think Joe Willock's massive napper has blocked somebody else 2 weeks in a row, and it happens to be the manager, Eddie Howe, this week. So hopefully Joe won't get dropped for Leeds for that. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Man of the match for me, we were split on this in our chat. We ran a poll after the game down there on our Evermore Twitter. If you haven't followed it, make sure you do. Give us a follow. We ran a poll. I think Botman was winning the poll. Me personally, my man of the match was Miggy Almiron. I just thought he was brilliant. I even said if Miggy Almiron powered the national grid, we wouldn't have an energy crisis because the kid just doesn't stop running. He's back, he's forward, he gets the goal, he's pressing people back, the quality that he shows, the desire, the hunger that he shows. I think Miggy was my man of the match personally, but let us know who yours was in the comments below. All the lads played class, to be fair. It's hard to knock anybody. It really, really is. You can be critical about certain parts of the game, I suppose, where you maybe expect a bit more. But, when you beat a team like Leicester on their own patch 3-0, and they don't even get out of second gear, really, you've got to take that win. You've got to be buzzing with that win, and bring on Leeds on New Year's Eve. And I'm sure we're going to be looking for another 3 points as well. But as I said at the start, if you like this kind of thing, this is all free of charge. Drop us a subscribe. You won't regret it. Evermore, we're only just over a year old, but we've had a hell of a journey so far. We've got loads of content here, loads of great lads on the channel, so you won't regret it. Come and join us for some Newcastle United banter, all free. 2 live shows, as I said, and pop-up videos just like this one for post-match reviews and previews and transfer videos and everything else. So bring on Leeds on New Year's Eve. I hope whoever's going enjoys it. We'll get 3 points, and that'll make those beers taste even sweeter. So have a great New Year, everybody. This is Chris signing off. Until then, let's keep supporting that team of Core United, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.